Let's go, it's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. So the main story in this Castlevania is basically Gabriel is trying to kill the Lords of Shadows. I don't want to spoil it, but they're basically like, think of them as like the kings of the underworld, or whatever you want to call them. They basically run the evil shit, and you have to go to each one and beat the shit out of them because they're, I don't know, destroying the world. Before the game even starts, your wife is killed, and you basically want her back because it's sad when your wife dies, I would assume. Hopefully that never happens to me. No offense to Gabriel. And throughout the game, you meet new companions. Some are from your brotherhood, some are brand new characters, all leading up to fighting these Lords of Shadows. And while the story isn't, you know, there's not a billion twists and it's not the most engaging story, it's still well done, and the ending is awesome. You'll see what I mean. I really did like the voice acting for the most part. The narrative was excellent. I believe it was Patrick Stewart who did it, and he just thumbs up to him. Overall, actually, all the voices in this game were pretty damn good. Even the evil guys, they didn't sound too corny this time. So there's a little corny dialogue, but you have to expect that. Overall, though, the story is good, the voice acting is great, and the pacing is really well done. There's really no boring parts. Now, to the older Castlevania fans, I'm not sure where this game, story-wise, takes place. So my friend told me it was before, but this was before the game came out. With this ending, I think it's basically a reboot to the whole damn series. So in the end, it was a good story. Just if you're a fan of the old games and you're going to cry about the whole, oh, it's not canon and shit, I don't know what to tell you. Any new fan, you'll probably love this.
First time I touched your face, I have seen my fate. I am ready.
The graphics are, oh my god, beautiful. They are beautiful. They look amazing. I literally, while I was playing this game and talking to my friend, literally told him like 6 or 7 times that, oh my god, the graphics are amazing. I then went on to text to my other 2 friends and tell them both that the graphics are insane. And then I even got one friend, she's now going to pick up the game simply because the graphics are that damn good. No, I just thought the graphics were insanely good in this game. The design choice was great. This is a perfect mix of Western and Japanese art. Excellent, thumbs up there. There's really nothing bad to say about the graphics. There are a few frame rate drops here and there, but nothing too bad. I don't know about the 360 version. I heard there were more frame rate drops. I don't know. I got the PS3 version. There's very few frame rate drops. I can't give this section anything lower than a 10. Design-wise, great. Graphic-wise, great. It just looks amazing and flows. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking looking game. Gameplay-wise, this game combines a lot of different things, which, in my opinion, is a well-done idea because this game is longer than your average action game. It's actually like double or maybe even triple the length, mattering which action game you played. Its main focus is nothing because there are so many different focuses. This game doesn't focus on one area. I would say the combat probably reigns a little more than the platforming and puzzles, but they all get an equal share almost. So with that, I'll talk about the puzzles real fast. Puzzles are basically done in like any other puzzle game. You basically remove statues. You actually play a chess game in one puzzle, which is great. You'll have to switch the electricity switches, stuff like that. The puzzles are simple. Some are a little tough to figure out. Some are actually really fun, like the chess game. Then we move on to the platforming. The platforming isn't Prince of Persia, but you'll have a good amount of climbing, swinging, and all other shit, jumping, dashing. There's all these different platforming parts, and it actually works really well. I'm not saying it's Prince of Persia, but it does the job, and it's not bad platforming. It's amazing. I know most action games can't fucking pull off platforming for their life, but in this game it actually works pretty well, and it kind of breaks up the combat and puzzle section, so it's actually fun to actually do these platforming parts. And then we arrive at the combat section, and it is awesome in this game. There's very little to be said bad about the combat section. I personally have more fun with this combat than God of War. All these people comparing God of War to this, I like God of War. God of War 2 remains one of my favorite games of all time. But damn, does this combat kick ass. I actually use every fucking move they give me. Every move that I unlock, I use eventually because it's actually a lot of fun to pull off these combos, and they're actually useful. In God of War, I always felt, it looks cool, but when I have to click square and triangle 15 fucking times to pull off a move, whereas in Castlevania you basically just get like square, square, triangle, or square L2 triangle. It's very simple to pull them off, but they actually help in battle. So overall, the combat really works. It's smooth. If I had to compare, yes, it's very similar to God of War because of the heavy feel of the combat. When you slash, you feel like you're slashing the shit out of your opponent. Same thing with God of War. It's not as quick as Ninja Gaiden. It's not as flashy as, Devil May Cry. So people are going to compare it to God of War. However, God of War took from fucking Legacy of Kain. So let's shut that shit up right now, okay? This game works very well when it comes to combat. It's smooth. It's fast. Plenty of different combos to unlock. You can use magic, which this is the coolest thing in my opinion. The magic will unlock its own set of moves. So when you're using your shadow magic or your light magic, you will actually pull off new combos, which is a cool idea. It just keeps expanding the combo list. You'll also be able to use secondary weapons like daggers, fairies, and you get this awesome summoning crystal that eats it comes out and it just shits all over the opponents. It eats them up. It eats them. It's just and they're all dead. It's cool, and you're gonna see it because I'm definitely going to take a video of it. You're watching it right now probably. So overall, I absolutely love the combat system. I really only have to say two negative things about the gameplay, and they're very small, minor negative things. One is the backtracking. This is a Castlevania game. You should be used to it. If you want to complete every single level in terms of completion, because you can see your completion rate on each level, you will have to go back and, after you get some certain power, and do that level again. It's a little annoying in my opinion. I know a lot of people like backtracking. I certainly do not. So that's one of my negative things, very minor. And another negative thing I have to say is the platforming. While it is fun, when you're climbing buildings and stuff, feel very slow. When I just played a game like Enslaved or Prince of Persia or any of those games, the platforming feels a lot faster. Here it feels a lot slower. Those are my only two negative things, very minor. I'm just going to take off maybe a point. But the gameplay section is a very strong 9. I encourage anybody who likes action games to check this shit out. This game is a very strong game. It came out of nowhere. It certainly proved that you could combine elements from different games like God of War, Shadow of Colossus, and whatever other action games out there, and make it its own unique adventure, similar to Darksiders. And just like Darksiders, the reviewers can kiss my nuts, because you know why? Yeah, it does take from other games. It uses their ideas, actually enhances in some cases, and what the fuck do you get? A fucking great game. Oh my god, it's cloning, it's a bad game. Shut the fuck up. Every game comes from Mario, okay? And evolved from Mario, or Tetris, or Pong, or whatever the fuck the first games were. So shut up. Enough of your fucking copying this, copying that bullshit. The game does enough of its own to make it a unique game. Plus, it borrows elements from other games, sometimes enhances it, sometimes just makes an awesome set piece like taking down the Titans. The game works really well. Another thing is the game's long. You're going to get your money's worth here. You have 15 to 25 hours, mattering how fast you go through these levels. If you skip the puzzles, blah, blah, blah. If you want to complete the whole game, it's going to take you way longer because you're going to have to go through all the levels again to find the different, hidden treasures and all that. And you have to get powers later on that you go back to the level. So there's plenty to do in that game. Beating it on harder difficulty, you don't even unlock the hardest difficulty until you beat the game. So there you go. You have even more reason to play the game. And the game is a tough game. It's not an easy game. I suggest playing it on normal for anybody who's not a hardcore action fan to get used to it, and then play on the harder difficulties later. So the game will give you hours and hours of replayability on top of already being an amazing game the first run. There's very little bit to say about this game. I ran into one glitch. Basically, my guy got stuck swinging back and forth. I don't know what happened. He looked like a retard, but he wouldn't jump. That was the only glitch I ever ran into. Barely any glitches in this game. Like I said, the combat's very strong. I certainly enjoyed this game way more than I thought I would. There's very little bad to say. Fucking get the game. It's one of the best action games of the year. Again, I would put it right next to Darksiders and Bayonetta as the action games of the year. This is a great year for action games, and pick it up if you're an action fan.
Gabriel, take this!